Welcome to a new week, and this time it starts with a big bang for Chinese internet names. But more specifically here, as you can see, the DIDI shares are up more than 50% following some news, or let's say rumor at this point in time, around a possible ending into the probe of DIDI. So we're gonna look at that in a second, but then speak a little bit more what this means for the rest of the Chinese names. Let's have a look to some names here. Alibaba up almost 10%. Baidu is doing very well recently. It's actually one of the strongest of the larger caps here, but today only 4% up. Tencent lacking a little bit. JD doing really well, almost 8%. I think in general, KWeb, let me have a look here, is up 8%, so this is a lot for an ETF. In general, you know, I always have Brandon here on the channel talking about the Chinese internet names, and so it seems like they are getting a boost based on this article. So here we have it by the Wall Street Journal. China to conclude DIDI's cybersecurity probe, and lifting the ban actually on the App Store listing. So they might be back in the App Store and being able to adding new users. Actually, also some other companies here, Full Truck Alliance as well as Kanjun, they might be able to get back onto the App Stores and also get a lift on the bans and also the various investigations into these names. And we all know that it actually really started with the DIDI IPO that really kind of got the regulators upset in the terms of the way it has been performed. The regulators have been warning DIDI management to not go and make an IPO overseas. They did it anyways, despite the warnings, and this really kicked off all of the regulation. And so I wouldn't say that this is all about, you know, an end to the possible crackdowns, because I'm always saying here on this channel that the crackdowns may affect some companies significantly, but some others not really on the bottom line. So I'm always not really buying fully into the story that the crackdowns are, you know, the reason why many of these Chinese shares have tanked so much. Maybe more about the underlying business. Today we actually got Futu numbers, and they have been not so good actually. They are showing some declining numbers, even still managing to adding some users, but it's not the 100% year-over-year growth anymore. And so yes, they may have been affected even more so by also the economic downturn. And so yeah, it's interesting to see also still a big rally in Futu shares today. So this might be more a little bit of the short covering going on. This is one of the most shorted Chinese stocks as well here. And they are possibly speculating that Futu also gets banned from the app stores and stuff like that, for example. And with this DIDI news, it's getting more and more unlikely, right? But so coming back to this whole thing, what this might mean for Chinese stocks going forward, I think maybe the bigger message here is that this could actually be the preparation work for actually a solution to the US-China delisting issue. This is just speculation here on my side. I'm not saying that this is going to happen, but what I do think is that as soon as we see DIDI actually being unlisted and having a solution in place for, let's say, those other names as well, I think at this point it will actually enable the Chinese regulators to strike a deal also with the US counterparts in the area of PCAOB oversight and stuff like that. Why? Because then they finally have control over those different companies like DIDI. Another one actually being Ant Financial. What's interesting, there also quite recent development here that they have added someone to the board of directors here, this lady here, who's actually the boss of the Hong Kong Stock Exchange. So we all know the issues around the Ant IPO, also a company where the regulators had really a lot of stomach pain because with Jack Ma and Alibaba venturing into an area that is very, very significant and kind of sensitive to the Chinese regulators and even the government in terms of microloans, lending, banking sector and stuff like that. And we know that there was a hold on their IPO as well, all of the backlash on Jack Ma and Alibaba, right? And now this is an interesting sign, isn't it, that they're now adding somebody to the board from the Hong Kong Stock Exchange, which means maybe there is actually an IPO imminent of Ant Financial, and that's also something which will be very positive for Alibaba shareholders, I would say. And ultimately also coming back and wrapping things up here with DIDI, for each of these different cases here, DIDI, Ant Financial and so on, and also those smaller names that I've been naming, it seems like they're getting closer to having kind of a solution in place. And after they have that, I think this will kind of pave the field for taking also the next step for the whole China, US listed sector, internet sector and so on, and announcing hopefully a deal on this US-China thing, where we are also still thinking all of the time, when do we get the solution, right? We got the date around June, maybe earlier. Well, earlier it didn't happen so far, but maybe June it is now, or maybe even July. But I think, these kind of breakthroughs there, more and more positive news, this could actually show the beginnings of hopefully also a delisting deal here, although that might be too early to say. This is just how I'm reading the signs. Let me know down in the comments what you think about it and about the significance of that. Thank you guys for watching, and see you in the next one.